but you can use the same technique that I use here of selecting individual faces to map anything that you need to, pretty much, even a whole character, okay? With the throne you will do the same, using the, you just select the faces of the front, side, top, bottom, and then map them individually. And I'm going to show you how. Let's, with our object selected, let's go to the UV editor, and if you notice there's no UV coordinates yet because we haven't applied any. So let's start with a cylindrical projection. Since this looks like it mostly could be broken down to a cylindrical shape with top, bottom, and the center piece. Let's do the cylindrical map. And if you notice, you're mapping there already, pretty decent. So let's shrink it down and put it inside the UV texture area so that everything is on that positive quadrant. Notice that by default none of the other quadrants are highlighted. It only has the shaded texture on that positive quadrant because that's where the default texturing area is, okay? So always keep everything to this area over here, the positive one with the lighter gray. Anything that you put outside that might not be seen, like this line over here. I'm going to work on that now. I'm going to turn off the shading here so that you can better see the what's happening here with the texture on that quadrant right there that we're using. And that's our cylindrical projection. You see that it has a cylindrical shape. Let's go to the Hypershade. Let's go Window, Rendering, Hypershade to set up a material for our vase. That way we can see how that is being affected by the UV map. Let's create a blend, right? Never use the default ones. Just make new materials for anything that you create on your geometry, on your scene. I'm going to rename that to Vase Material Checker Test, okay? That way I know what it corresponds to, especially if you have 20, 30, or 100 elements on your scene. On the hypergraph, you can always see the materials, assigned to it by name. Then I'm going to go to Object Mode, right-click, go to Object Mode, and select the vase, and right-click on the material and assign Material to Selection to assign it. If you notice that little highlight came up telling you yes, it's applied. Before it was the Lambert, the default Lambert. And be careful with assigning anything to the default Lambert, because anything you assign there is going to be what every material on your scene will be born with, because that's what everything is assigned. Anything new you create, it will assign Lambert 1 by default. So let's apply next the checker map, okay? Let's, on the color node, click on the checker map icon there, click on checker, and there it is. Let's see how it looks before. Oh, I had the Lambert one selected. That was my mistake. Let's shouldn't have clicked on that. Undo. There you go. Needed to have this one selected to do that. So let's repeat that process. Make sure you don't make the same mistake. Excellent. When you do that, if you have your shaded mode, show texture icon on smooth shade all, you will see the texture already applied. The problem is that the squares are huge, and I can't really tell how the distribution of the checker material is. So let's go to the UV coordinates and follow that link, that node, and for the repeats, let's set it to 20 by 20. And that's a lot, but I think it will work out better. Let's close that, and you see now it's looking much better. When we come back, we're going to start then applying UV coordinates.